Thanks, Alexandra, for the introduction. Stay tuned, I have a little surprise for you at the end of my talk. So before I start talking to you about generative AI and stuff and go into technical details, I have one question for you. What happened in 2001? All right, many things happened. Some of you might be old enough to remember 9/11 as an example. But for me, what happened also in 2001 was the first time of my life where I had to make a real choice. What will I do with my life? What career will I choose? So I'm in high school, which makes you guess roughly how old I am right now. And my grades are pretty good in all fields. And I'm not saying that to be bragging. Actually, sometimes I think it's easier to have less ability in something, so the choice is made for you. That wasn't my case. So I decided to go around my teachers and ask them for their opinion. My first stop was my French literature teacher. She was a 50-year-old woman, single, living with her cats, and she was convinced I was destined to teach French literature to high school students, just like she was. You see where I am today, so I guess you know that I didn't really choose this path. My second stop was my biology teacher. And she told me I could be successful as a biology researcher if I could work on being more patient. Because you know, in real life experimentation, not in digital world, experiments can take weeks or months to see results. Patience isn't my strongest suit, as you'll hear more about that later in the talk. So I moved on to my last stop, which was my physics teacher. And what he told me has resonated with me the rest of my career. Do you want to know what it is? Oh, even if you say no, I'll give it to you because I need it. So he said, I could be successful regardless of what I chose, but if I was to choose engineering, I could be successful while being lazy. So now, you might think I'm pretty crazy coming on stage in G on the beach and basically calling the entire audience lazy. Please don't throw me tomatoes. Because actually, I am lazy, and I'm guessing if you chose this path, you might be a bit too. So why am I telling you that? Why am I insulting you, basically? So I try to turn laziness into a driver. I want to be lazy, and I want people I work with to be able to afford to be lazy as well. I hate manual tasks. I hate repetitive tasks. So if I see something that has to be done over and over again, I'll try to automate it. And that's how I've been living my life and my career so far. I did that for 10 years as part of an academic research environment, which was very interesting. And I have the great satisfaction of publishing tons of scientific papers, with the even greater frustration of having absolutely zero tool available out of them. No matter how good your idea is, the whole point of academic research was to publish papers, not to make it in the hands of the end user. So I moved 5 years ago into industrial research. I now build research and departments for a couple of companies, and my goal is to find pain points, bottlenecks in the people I work with, and build tools for them. So a few months, you can see absolutely zero papers, because that's not my point anymore, but a ton of usable tools. And I'm here today to talk to you about how we do that with generative AI, for instance, which is something we've been doing at Medida. But before I do so, and we jump into a bit more technical part, and to make sure you guys are still awake, I'm going to ask you to stand up if you've ever heard about ChatGPT. Come on, I would expect everyone to be up right now. So if you're not standing up, either you've been sleeping through my talk and you don't really know why people are standing up right now, or you've been sleeping for 1 full year. Now, please stay up, for the one who are still up, if you've ever used ChatGPT, at least once in the last 3 months. Okay, most people, right? Now, stay up if you've been able to develop an application based on ChatGPT or any equivalent AI technology. Yeah, it's not that easy, right? Everyone knows about it, but actually having it as part of your flow isn't that easy. So right now, what we're going to talk about is how you can adopt generative AI technology, but not just by going to any third party and going and logging on ChatGPT, but actually for company purposes, for your own company, in a safe way, because data privacy is key to most companies, I would say. And using a third-party server is not really what companies like to do. I also want to tell you how we can do it fast to increase productivity. I told you I'm not patient. I don't want to wait 1 month for something to be usable. Robustly, with limited third-party dependency, and with a simple UI, so you can adopt it really fast in your company. You don't need months and months of thinking about a product before people can actually use it. So you'll see 4 example internal tools that we developed here in Medina. And I'll go a little bit quick into the main tech stacks that we used to be able to build these tools. I am not a highly technical person, so if you have very technical questions, my team is here ready for your questions later. All right, ready? So let's jump in the first one. Who has dreamed about talking to robots, right? Like Star Wars geeks, 3TPO, you want to be able to ask any kind of questions. Well, we try to give access to our company internally, ChatGPT, but not any ChatGPT. We want to, of course, use the key functionalities, which are question, answer, traduction, summary, paraphrasing, email drafting, asking for a recipe, I don't know, whatever you guys use it for, but without sending any sensitive information to an external server. This is key for us. I don't know about your company, but we don't like to send our IP documentation out there. And additionally, we want to know what is useful, what type of task prompting people are using in a company. So you can probably do better than a one-size-fits-all solution as ChatGPT. So what we created is something that is based on ChatGPT at first, that we call MedGPT, that has the same LLM features, so you can do the chat, summary, and all of these things. You can access the web to have updated information. But in addition to that, we added a moderation layer. So we are checking the prompt before it is sent to make sure there is nothing sensitive in your prompt. We are logging what the employees are doing, not to spy on them, but as I said, to see if there is some redundancy in the task and that we could do better. We added the possibility to ask for feedbacks. So if you know the model really sucks, we want to know it so we can update to a more new model. And we can also look at the results of more than one model at a time. And we're in the process and almost finished to also add the agents, so you can build a whole flow and reuse it as part of different application. How does that work? What is the tech stack that we use? That's what you guys are probably here for. So we use authentication system, which is Keycloak, which is the same as everywhere in our company, but it could be whatever you guys using in your company. We want fast development, so we chose Gradio as a front end, because it's very easy, code everything through an API, doesn't need to look fancy, just access the features. Our backend uses fast API that can either call OpenAI after the moderation layer, or call our in-house model, which is stored on S3 in Amazon. Our data storage is Postgres and DynamoDBs. And we're hosting everything on Docker with Kubernetes, so we're trying to be as cloud agnostic as possible. So if we have to move everything to a different cloud, easy peasy-ish. The in-house model that we're using right now is Vicuna, but it's very easy to update. Actually, in the past few weeks, we've already upgraded to other models that are more powerful. And we can use SERP APIs to access the internet. All of these things are plugged together. And I'm spending a little bit more time on this one because it's kind of the backbone of all the tools that come after. Once you figure out this infra is working, it's very similar from one tool to the next. And this is roughly how it looks like. I'm going to move a little bit so you guys can see the screen better. So as I said, very simple UI, nothing fancy. There's several tabs, but the first tab is the chats. We chose here the in-house model. And if you were to ask something like, what are some cool things to do in Malaga? For those of you that are not from here, in a few seconds, the chat is going to answer to you with a summary of the stuff to look at. It's a beautiful city with a rich history and culture. Visit the Alcazaba. If you haven't done so, I recommend it. It's amazing. And so forth, right? Now, we added feedbacks. People like the answer. That's dope. Just click the button, we'll receive it, and we can store your feedbacks. If you hate it, same. Tell us so that we know it's time to upgrade the model. So that was the first one. Now, every company, I think, at least the one I've been in, have this problem. We have tons of documentation everywhere because we need to document our results, our experimentation, our infrastructure, the list of employees, the infrastructure of your team, everything. And then you end up like in this pile of digital books everywhere. You don't really know where is the information anymore. So what we're trying to build with this tool that we call the Knowledge Hub is a tool to retrieve and explain all the information that you have stored internally. In our case, we use a Confluence base. You can use Word, you can use whatever else is available to you. The key point is that we don't want to send this data, which is internal property, anywhere. We don't want to send it to OpenAI. We don't want to say, this is my drive. Basically, tell me how many people work in a company. And also, we want it to be hassle-free for the people, so we don't want to ask anyone to structure or standardize the documentation in any way, because it never works. You have a template and people don't follow, and then everything breaks. So we built this tool. So the backbone is similar. We have Keycloak to authenticate, which also allows you to know which documentation from this intranet you have access to or not. We have also a RAG API, so Retrieve Augmented Generation. There's some talks about that this week as well. That's basically takes the Confluence page, process it, clean, ingest, summarize it, chunk it into small bits, and then does a lexical and semantic search with Elasticsearch. And then the same API as before, which is called the NLP API, is here with in-house model to understand your query and to give you the answer to that query. The front end is the same. We use Gradio again. The hosting is the same. Data storage is Elasticsearch and Postgres again. And the in-house model is the same. Again, can be changed anytime. And this is what this looks like. So in here, we downloaded the research and development Confluence space, which by 1st of April had about 1,200 pages. We document a lot in the department. And if you want to ask a question that you think should be in that space, you can say, how can we run a Docker configuration test? The model and the whole pipeline is looking for the information and gives you a human-readable answer. So to run a Docker test configuration, you need to create a Docker image based on a project Docker file, install requirement, and so forth. What's really neat about that as well is that even if the answer isn't detailed enough, complete enough, or accurate enough, it gives you the source information. So instead of going through a Confluence page and going like, where is this information? You just need to click on the link, and you can dig up from there. The next one is similar concept, but you know where is the document. You have the document in your hands, or the URL page with the information, but just too long. And I told you, I am lazy. I don't want to read 50 pages of documentation or everything when I have like a simple question to it. So Talk to Your Document is here to help you answer your question to any document you have. It's useful for any formats like PPTX, PDFs, docs, whatever, URL. It's also neat because you don't need to send that document anywhere. Like you want it translated, don't send copy-paste to Google Translate or ChatGPT. You just upload your document to the tool and ask, please translate into Chinese. You don't need to structure anything again or standardize documentation, can have every format. And you don't need to share this document with another tool or another colleague. It can be something super private like your payslip and you want some data analysis on it. I'm not going to go through the infra because it's the same as the Knowledge Hub. We use exactly the same technology with the addition of a scraping API, so if this is a URL and not a document. So an example, again, same UI. We uploaded something called Knowledge Hub v2.pptx. So that's a presentation we made in the company to explain what is the Knowledge Hub. And we ask, what are the cool things or what are the key highlights of the Knowledge Hub? Takes a few seconds, and then you get your answer. Based on a provided document, the key point of knowledge are a transformer architecture, captures understand information, blah, blah, blah. Everything I basically discussed just before. So a lot of people in our company are using it already. They translate their document, they summarize it, they get some key highlights, everything that you want. And the last one I want to talk to today, and let's go away a little bit from large language model, and let's move to the image space. We are a digital marketing company, which means we create a bunch of websites. And when you create websites, you want to have nice, creative content, aka images. And up to now, the way to get your images would be to go through some kind of image provider, let's say Google Image to simplify. And then you want something specific, you're going to spend a lot of time scrolling through images like, this is the one I want. Or when you make a presentation, by the way, every single image in that presentation were made with the tool. So the idea here is to remove this pain and go a little bit faster with a tool that can create images IP-free for you to use the way you want. It's similar, it's based on Midjourney initially, it's very similar. You can do text to image, image to image. You can do text search across your stack of images. It's very easy to keep track of what you created, who created for what, share images with your colleagues. And again, we create a very simple UI so everyone can adopt it. You don't need to be a tech savvy to be able to create an AI image. So we based it primarily on Midjourney, and we tried to copy the features we liked and add stuff on top of it that would be more useful for a company usage. I guess I'm always in front of you guys. So you can generate high quality images, text to image, image to image. We added more models to it, in-house hosted models, so you can compare results with different models. We did not put the variant regeneration, because that is very hard for people to understand, and we want easy adoption, so we simplify it. We added again a moderation layer. Want to make sure you don't send prompts that you shouldn't be sending. We also added a chatbot assistant to help you prompting, because image generation is not the same. Like the model behind it don't understand human language. They want some technical details. So it's not that easy to create a good image. So we created a chat assistant to help you prompt. And you can also categorize your image and store them for everyone as their own, basically, library of images based on what they generated previously. So the tech stack is, again, super similar. We identify it the same way. We did use a different front end. This one is called Streamlit. Again, it's super easy to develop without any web development expertise through API. Our fast API is calling either the Discord API from Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, which is hosted on Comfy UI. Our data storage is Elasticsearch, Kibana, and Postgres. So we need to store all the images and all the queries. And again, we're hosting it on Docker and Kubernetes, so we can move from cloud to cloud if we need to. And the rest is stored on S3. Okay, quick demo. Very easy UI. I'm not going to show everything for the sake of time, and I'm not here to sell these tools anyway, by the way, like they're all internal tools. I'm not going to give you access to them. So just to give you an idea, here it's a very simple version. You can enter your prompt that you want. So let's say you want a cat programming. Just write it down. But you don't want that cat to have an orange fur. So we also have like a negative prompt field. You click the generate button, and then you wait. Takes about 40 seconds. So while we wait 40 seconds. For the people who are a little bit more technical, have more specific needs, the UI also has different filters that you can add, like which format you want to image from, and so forth. If you're used to Midjourney, you will find most of the filters here as well, but in an easy format that you don't need to be sending a line of code. This is, again, to make it accessible to anyone in a company, from, I don't know, a workplace manager, HR, people making presentation, to people more technical. When it's done, you get your images. So here we have 4 beautiful cats who looks to be programming. They're a little bit creepy, but we didn't give more details. And all the information that was used is also stored. You can download it, or you can re-access it later through your user library that just fills up itself with everything you want to generate. It's very easy. So to conclude, as I said, I'm not here to sell these tools, so I'm not going to go into every single detail. My key message here is that using generative AI will really help you boost your productivity in your company. It's a very fast-changing field. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, but just jump in it. Like, it's moving every day, there's new stuff every day. If you build everything, your stack, so in a way that it's easy to adapt, you can benefit from it too, in a safe way. So, as I said, boost your productivity, keep your company safe, wrap these tools into something that has the layers of protection that you need. Replace with in-house models whenever you can. There's a very great model out there every single day. There's competing open source models. Make it so that you can change models very easily without having to reinvent your code every time. Monitor what's happening out there. And also log and monitor what your colleagues are doing it with so that you can build a more specific solution for them. You can also afford to be lazy. So join me on this laziness trip and use this. It's actually fun as well. I'm going to finish here. Thank you for listening. Please come test another one of these tools at our booth if you haven't done so. And this is Alexandra's AI-generated version and some of these models. So if you haven't done so already, just go and come home with one of your own personalized AI image of yourself. And I'm up for questions now.